Well, hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to another Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the host of the Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. I'm also the founder and lead investigator of Deep Woods Paranormal, along with my wife and I, Amanda. We research everything paranormal, be it ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoots, cryptids, there. Now I'm doing the same thing I was doing yesterday. I tried this 3 times yesterday. I could not get my mouth to work. So, anyways, we research anything paranormal. If it's paranormal in nature, we will come take a look and see if we can document it. What these podcasts are basically meant to do is for us to share the paranormal with you and for you guys to make up your own minds as to what you think things are. Occasionally now on the news, on the paranormal news, we will share other people's stuff. And we will kind of look at it and kind of let you guys make up your own mind. We might put some input in there. But anyways, so let's get into some bookkeeping here. Let me share my screen with you. And we need to go here. All right, real quick. I know I've beat this to death, but I'm going to repeat it anyways. This is the Deep Woods Paranormal Buy Us a Coffee page. It's linked down below in the comments. In the description, excuse me. What this is basically a way to support our team. We're in the process of building a network of different types of shows and stuff like that, especially the paranormal. And so we're trying to upgrade our gear as we're always doing. And I'll talk to you a little bit about some new gear that we just bought recently. Our goal is to make $2,000. If you guys can help us out, buy us 1 coffee, buy us 3 coffees, buy us 5, or however many you want. First off, let me say that we don't expect anyone to buy us a coffee. If you would like to buy us a coffee, we are extremely grateful. We're also extremely grateful for you guys checking out our channel, liking, subscribing, and sharing this with your friends on social media, hitting that notification bell because we do post 3 to 5 to sometimes 6 times a week. We do more than podcasting. We do share our investigations sometimes. Recently, we've had a string of private investigations where we went to locations where people don't want the evidence shared. So we've kind of kept that private, and it's kind of taken up a little bit more of our time. So that's what's going on with that. So yeah, if you want to come on here, let me explain. Everybody keeps asking me what this is for, what this $2,000 is for. Like I said, we're trying to buy a new camera. So here's one that we're looking at. This is a Sony HXR-NX100 HD, and it says NX-CAM. So this basically is a higher grade camera than what we're using now. It's more professional, and that's where we're going with this. We would like to upgrade to a higher grade camera than what we have now. We have a really nice see in the dark camera. It sees low light and also picks, of course, on IR. Does not pick up on full spectrum. So, anyways, so this is one of the cameras we're looking at. As you can see, it's almost $3,000. And I'm just using Walmart's website because they're probably the cheapest out there for these. Here's a Panasonic HC X1500 4K Pro camcorder. The reason we're looking at 4K is because it's just higher quality video, and that's what we're looking to bring you guys. And then the last one, these aren't the cameras we're going to possibly buy. We're just looking at the idea of looking at buying these. So this is the Canon XA45 Professional UHD 4K camcorder. The other cameras we have are all the way from $100 cameras all the way up to $1,000 cameras. And they're great, but unfortunately, like the old Sony Handycams we have, they don't shoot in high enough quality video now to put out there anymore. And unfortunately, after 20 years of service, they essentially are obsolete now. You have to have higher megapixels and stuff on your camera. And that's what this 4K is. It's basically just a higher definition camera. So, and we shoot at night a lot. So whether we're ghost hunting, Bigfoot researching, UFO researching, we're going to probably be shooting in the dark. So, all right. So I told you guys a little bit about what we're trying to buy. Let me get in here. This is something that we just bought. This is a Tesla coil. And as you can see, if you're watching the YouTube channel, basically it shoots out energy in every direction. It's like a ball on a stick that plugs into the wall and creates electricity. EMF, pretty much. It does pretty similar to what the external, what do they call those? The EM pumps do. Excuse me. Again, I'm still brain fart for some reason. So essentially, this does that, but it puts out more direct energy. And the theory is that spirits need energy to manifest. And I just want to try something a little different. I've seen this used on a couple of the TV shows. I've also talked to other people that have used them with success. So we're going to find out if this will work or not. You'll probably see it in upcoming shows. We just bought this. Oops. So you're asking, what is this? Let me move this out of the way. Come on, you. Okay. So this is the Ghost Box Portal All-in-One 2023. This came highly recommended from different people that I talked to. I also have seen it on some other shows. So I figured I would take a chance. You can see what I paid for it. It was about $115 plus about $45, $50 shipping. This gentleman lives in England and he actually custom builds these. So it's going to take about a month and a half. We won't get this until possibly March. But essentially, this is what this is. It's basically a ghost box without hopefully all the annoying noise that you get in between. Hopefully, they'll be able to use this and we'll be able to hear them and let them manifest through this. And we can have an actual conversation real time. It's basically like doing a real time EVP. All right. So, and then we're going to be working on getting some more Bigfoot stuff too. We're going to be working on getting other gear for that. We actually have the gear that we've gotten to go look for Bigfoots is essentially camping gear. What I've done is I have tons of camping gear because I've been out researching paranormal and stuff and sleeping in places where Bigfoots and other cryptids are supposed to be for a long time. Speaking of Bigfoot, I just realized if you're watching this, you can see a Bigfoot possibly up in this picture that comes across. It's really cool that they did this. The links for these cryptids will be in the description below at the very bottom. So if you're looking for that, if you want to come see for yourself, if you're listening to this and you're curious later, you can go through and click on it and see what I'm talking about. So, and again, you guys got to remember everything I talk about. It doesn't matter if it's my experiences or if I'm sharing evidence or if we're watching somebody else's video, whatever it is, anything on the podcast or anything on the YouTube channel, you guys have to make up your own mind. I always say, I don't expect anyone to believe until they've had their own encounter or they can say it couldn't be anything else but. And in this case, you can put a cryptid in there. You can put a Bigfoot in there. You can put ghosts, UFOs, demons, angels, whatever you want to say. You have to have your own experience. And I always say you guys got to take this with a grain of salt. None of this is at this point been proven to be real, although UFOs seem to be pretty real. So they classify UFOs as a cryptid. Let me quickly veer off course here. News today. I've been listening to a lot of the news of what's going on around the world just because I'm a little concerned. And so there was two different things shot down, one over Alaska and one possibly, I think, over Canada. No, don't hold me to that. What was interesting is I heard the interview with the pilot. He that shot down the first one on I think it was Friday. He said that they thought it was another Chinese balloon, but when he shot at it, he said it was different. It wasn't the same. It was cylindrical, long and skinny, silver disc, almost like a almost like a frisbee, double-sided frisbee. And he said that it was silver, and when the missile hit the actual device, or the UFO or whatever it was, it actually started just going straight down. It didn't like blow up like a balloon would. It didn't start to, lose its air and stuff like that. He said it basically broke into pieces and landed on the ground below in Alaska. Now, there's been, I don't know if you guys are watching the news or not. I don't really watch the news at all. Every once in a while, I'll tune into a TikTok or YouTube video where I hear somebody talking about this or that, or showing this, or a live news feed or something like that. I was kind of trying to watch that earlier, and I was just too busy. I was trying to get this stuff done. So supposedly they shot down another one over Canada, and they're freaking out because they don't know what these things are. They don't know if they're drones, if they're, something else, maybe something from another planet. Um, So I'm not going to get into any of the other stuff going on. This is not a political channel. This is not a survival channel. If you want to listen to my survival stuff, go over to my survival podcast. We also have a YouTube channel for that, Deep Woods Survival. You guys can go check that out as well. But I don't want to talk about that here. So, and then of course, my information is below, my email and my phone number. And then of course, our all of our links to every single site we're on. Our normal web page, and then down below is our Facebook page, our podcast page, all that stuff's there. So, and if you're just looking for one-stop shopping, you can go to our deepwoodsparanormal.com, and basically we have all of our podcasts there. All of our YouTube videos are also there. So if you just want to sit there and enjoy some videos, I think we have, God, what do we have now? We have 1,000 videos, 500 videos. I don't know how many we have on there. We have quite a few. We have at least 100 or more videos for you guys to watch, and over 100 podcasts. So you guys can go back and listen to how things have kind of progressed over the years. We're constantly upgrading both the YouTube channel and the podcasts. So give me 1 second here. I want to disappear off screen. I hope. This cold weather is messing with my allergies. I apologize for that. Okay. So you guys know how I like my lake monsters, and I'm always interested in hearing about other ones. I talked about Loch Ness Monster on one of the podcasts, kind of just generally. I've been to Loch Ness and stuff, and found out more information about what actually goes on there, and found out that the loch actually goes out to the ocean. So animals like whales and stuff come into the Loch Ness and then swim back out over time. So this one actually, believe it or not, this is in Canada. I'm not going to even pronounce this name because I don't know how to pronounce it. Well, you guys have heard of Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. This is Cressie, the Canadian monster. It says it's a mysterious eel-like creature which is said to lurk in the depths of the Crescent Lake in Newfoundland in Canada. So this is cool. So supposedly it was originally, you guys can go back and read this. I'm not going to read through this. I've already been through this 3 times. So I'm just going to kind of generalize this. So it says the creature basically was reported by the Native Americans in legends, and then it was referred to as all kinds of different names. They were terrified of it. It was feared by the local residents by the lakeside, and but the settlers that began to settle there okay, see, I'm doing that again. Okay, so it was feared by the local residents of the lakeside, but reports of it by the settlers only began in the early 20th century. So looks like it was seen in the 1950s by 2 men. They thought it was an upturning boat heading upwind, but when they approached it, it flipped itself over around and dived below the lake. So they say in the 80s, pilot crashed and drowned in Lake Crescent, and they basically brought out a couple scuba divers to retrieve his body. While they were in the water, it says they were attacked by a school of uncommonly large eels, which is what they're calling Cressie, and they had to retreat. So it says other sightings include in July 1991, they saw Cressie swimming on the lake's surface, and also in the summer of 2023. So a native woman said she saw it. Animal heading. She also saw it, and she wasn't. Okay, I'm not going to even get that. Never mind. I'm going to move on because I cannot seem to talk today or yesterday. So let's move on. So Cressie is an interesting thing. It's an eel-like creature that is extremely long, and basically looks like it's a carnivore. It eats fish and anything else swimming that is edible. So I don't know. Again, you guys got to make up your own minds on whether this is real or not. It's just an urban legend. So at this point, there's no solid proof of it. There looks like there's a picture here. I'm not going to blow this up anymore because it doesn't ever blow up bigger than what you see it here. So if you're watching on the YouTube, I'm sorry, if you're watching on the YouTube channel or you're listening on our podcast channels, one of the many that we are on. I think we're on 60 plus different podcast channels now. So you can go down on into the links and you can click back here and it'll bring you here. And you guys can go through and look at all this stuff. There's some comments down below. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to kind of generalize this stuff because I seem to be having some issues pronouncing things today. Excuse me. So, all right. Let's get into the Dover Demon. This is a small human-like creature that is seen in Dover, Massachusetts. Excuse me for a second. I did say this weather was messing with my allergies. So it basically was first seen in the 1970s. Basically, there was many witnesses to the sightings. It says it's described as a sort of gray alien, but it looks a little different. It has rosy tan colored skin. The Dover demon has a very large head with a small stick-like body and can be bipedal, but often travels on all fours, back and forth between the two modes of locomotion, basically meaning it walks on 2 feet and then it basically goes on all fours. Let's see. It says it has usually has glowing orange or sometimes green eyes. It doesn't have any clothing, and it says unlike the gray aliens, the Dover demon doesn't seem to be associated with any UFOs. So my thinking on this is, what if it is some kind of, now bear with me. Again, take this with a huge grain of salt. This is just my thinking out loud, my hypothesis on what it could be. So what if it is some kind of alien? Maybe they dropped off an alien that basically was, maybe it was an alien that wasn't correct. Born when it was born, maybe it was born with defects, and so they basically just brought it here and dropped it off and took off. Could it be some kind of a ghost? Maybe. Who knows? But this, the paragraph down below, it basically says they don't really study the Dover demon because it hasn't been seen for a very long time. It was only seen for a short period of time. So if you come down here to sightings, essentially it says teenagers were driving down the road. They looked over, the girl that was driving looked over and saw the thing walking on a wall down on all fours, and it basically turned and looked at her, freaked her out, and the other two people in the car didn't see it. So that's interesting. And then you kind of come down here and it just shows you what an artist rendition of it possibly looks like. It does look a lot like an alien. It doesn't seem to have any kind of mouth, which is strange. So I don't know how it could eat or anything like that. And then if you come down to explanations, it talks about skeptics. It says that basically they think it was a lost baby moose glimpsed under unusual conditions, and it seemed like a bizarre humanoid, basically. and they just, as far out there as they can make it. Whenever, and I apologize if you're a skeptic, but I've talked to a lot of skeptics and been out in places where we've seen things, and 5 of us who are believers say we saw this, and the person that is a non-believer normally says, "Oh, okay, I think I saw exactly what you guys did. I'm a believer now." But sometimes you get people that just, it doesn't matter if they see it or not, they will just say it's anything else but. So, and that's cool. I respect that too. Um, everyone has their own opinions. Everybody experiences things differently. People rationalize things differently and stuff like that. So, anyways, let's move on. Trying to keep this just going a little bit quicker. Okay, so this is called devil monkeys. This says there's been many reports of the devil monkeys, which are large baboon-like primates, and they're spotted in the woods around Flagstaff, Arizona. Eyewitnesses says that she noticed her dog was acting very aggressive and scared at the same time when they were on a hike through Mount Eldon Forest Trail. She noticed a group of small primate-looking creatures scurrying through the rocks. She described them as 4 to 5 feet tall, very quick and agile. These so-called devil monkeys in other places are also seen. Let's see. This doesn't make any sense. These so-called creatures are called devil monkeys in other places in the United States. Okay, so yeah, that's a little hard to say that. So other places they've been seen is in New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado. So that's not very far away from Arizona. So the Four Corner states, essentially. Now, so they say they're about 3 to 4 feet tall. They say they've seen them in excess of 7 feet. So you know what? They don't classify them as Bigfoot or Yeti. They also, it looks like they talk about them being similar to the El Chupacabra, which I don't think that's right either. I think it could be a pack of baboons. I mean, if I came across a baboon, I'm still doing it. Baboons, I would probably be terrified because those things are extremely aggressive. They're loud, they're obnoxious, and they will chase you out of their area. They will react. They will show their teeth. They do look scary. They can stand up on 2 feet and make themselves look bigger. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows exactly what they saw? But this pretty much describes a baboon to me. Baboons and stuff get out of zoos all the time. Maybe they mated with some kind of local animal, and maybe they mated with a gorilla or something like that. Maybe that made them a little bit bigger. Who knows? They could be. Again, take all this with a grain of salt. There are government facilities where they do research on these kind of animals. Maybe they got out from there, and the government or the GOV didn't say anything about it because they didn't want to scare anybody. And that could be what's going on with these guys. Maybe they were testing them to making them stronger or whatever. Maybe they were just trying to genetically modify them. I don't know. There's lots of different theories. Again, these are just hypotheses of what I think they could possibly be. Like I said, you guys got to make up your own mind. I've never seen one of these. I've seen baboons. I've seen them in zoos, but I've never seen one in the wild. And I mean, a primatologist would have to basically be with you when you're out there, and especially if you do encounter these, and they would have a better explanation of what it could be. Or they might go, throw their hands up and go, all right, I think we got a new animal in our hands. But you never know. Anyways, let's keep going. Like I said, this channel is basically just to report stuff and talk about different cool things, and then let you guys kind of make up your own mind. You can come back here and check out these pages and look through these, and you can choose whether you believe it or not. Okay, so believe it or not, they have the dragon, like a regular dragon that you would see as a cryptid. It says it's a legendary creature. Basically, it says basically there's two different kinds. There's the ones that you come from, ancient Egypt. I'm sorry, ancient European myths, where they said the knights used to, fight these animals and stuff like that. But basically, it talks about them as being real. There's also the Chinese dragon, or if you've ever seen the parades where they have the guys underneath and they're toting around this really cool looking dragon and they're like opening them out. It's really awesome. One of these days I want to go see that. Anyways, but they're saying there's two different types. This one is more of the typical one that everybody kind of knows, with the really long neck and the sharp teeth, maybe blows fire, has the wings, yeah, and used to terrorize villages back in the castle days, essentially. But supposedly they went extinct. So, going into this, it's just basically, it doesn't really talk much about it. They talk about a hoax of the pickled dragon hoax. You guys can look that up more if you want to. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this guy because there's not a lot of information here. But somebody did try and hoax a baby dragon in a pickle jar, and they quickly figured out, nope, that's not real. So yeah, like I said, you guys can come through, skull through here. This is not something we're going to research or anything like that. But if you do research them or you want to know more about them, feel free to come on here. And if you want, if you research these things and you have some evidence and stuff, we'd love to have you on the podcast. You guys, if you're with another paranormal team or you're on your own doing your own research, or you're just an enthusiast, or maybe you've had an experience, doesn't matter if it's cryptids, UFOs, cryptids, ghosts, maybe living in a haunted house, we'd love to hear about your experiences. One thing I always say on here, there should be no judgment here. This is a place I want people to be able to come either on a YouTube channel or come listen on our iHeartRadio or whatever podcast platform you listen to us on, and then just enjoy what I talk about. I kind of take a deep dive into certain things, especially if I'm passionate about it and I'm researching it. But I'm always learning. I'm always learning about the paranormal. I've been doing this almost 30 years. And the more I do this, the more I learn, the more people I meet. And people have their own takes on everything. People have other information to share. They've had their own experiences. And it's always interesting to hear their experiences because so you scratch your head and you go, okay, yeah, that matches what I've experienced. Okay, so I'm John on. Let me keep going here. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. So the Ebu Gogo. So this is a humanoid creature. It appears in Flora's mythology. Essentially, the Ebu means grandmother and the Gogo means eats anything. So it's the grandmother that eats anything. Including people, possibly. That's a little scary. Hey, Grandma, you want to come over? Oh, no, we're not food. Okay, so anyways, where does this come from? It comes from the people of the Flores, Indonesia area. And there's a map of different sightings down here. Essentially, this sounds a lot like a small Bigfoot. I imagine, if you look at humans, we come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and stuff. We're all different. We all have our own personalities. We all have our own thing. So, I imagine if you do believe in Bigfoot, and I don't expect anybody to believe, but if you do believe in Bigfoot, and this is all theory, the theory is that they could be just like us. They could have different species. They could have different looks and stuff like that. The common Bigfoot that we see here in, the United States usually ranges anywhere from, well, if it's juvenile, it won't be very tall, but the adults, the teens to adults range from anywhere from 8 feet up to 20 feet. I don't care what anybody says. They get a lot bigger than people think they do. If you come across the master of the group or the leader of the group, they are massive. They are 20 feet tall, usually. And talking to David, who lives up by Joe, he said, of course, he said it was about 20 feet tall, had these huge eyes. And the eyes had they were yellow with like almost like a cross in the middle. I've never heard that before. And I thought that was very, very interesting. But, anyways, like I said, I'm getting off track here. We'll talk more about Bigfoot here in a minute. I will release that podcast at the same time. It'll come out today as well, and because I'm catching up from this week. And then tomorrow you'll get the Anything Goes Paranormal Podcast. All right. So, supposedly these things are able to walk on all fours and also run on upright like we do. Supposedly they're about 1.5 meters tall, meaning a meter is about 3 feet tall. So 5 feet tall, maybe 4.5 feet tall. They're not very tall. If you take 1.5 meters, 3 feet, and then divide 3 feet and a half, it's about 1.5 feet. So that's 4.5 feet. They have supposedly wide and flattened noses, broad faces, and large mouths and hairy bodies, kind of like a Bigfoot. So the women are said to have bosoms. I'm not going to say that. You guys can read this if you want. They also are said to murmur in what is believed to be their own language, and they also can repeat things in a parrot-like fashion. They'll just, if you say Bigfoot, they'll repeat Bigfoot back to you, but it'll be kind of in a different language or different format than what you're probably used to hearing. So again, this goes back to my theory of a Bigfoot-like creature. And this could be also some kind of ancient man. If you look at the picture here, the artist rendition here, they don't have hair on their face like a Bigfoot does. And not all Bigfoots have hair on their face. Essentially, some of them are more human looking. Some of them don't have the hair around their face, the monkey-like mouth. They have more of a lips and stuff like we do, more of a nose like we do, but they're just bigger people. And there's a theory that there's wild men out there. Basically, it's some kind of humanoid that basically where people just essentially, humans went one way and the other humanoids went another way. A lot of them went extinct, but I think that would be silly to think that all of them went extinct. So there's a lot out there that we don't know about. If you look at even our oceans, we know more about space than we do our own oceans. There are things that they're constantly finding out there that are, just basically interesting. So, anyways, let's see. I'm not going to go into all of this, but here's another rendition of what they look like. They have long hair, kind of like a human. This is based upon a skull that they found. They look more like indigenous people, more of a kind of pronounced jaw, maybe just a little bit, but they look just like a normal human almost. Their skull is a little smaller. Their head, where their brain would be a little smaller. I think their face is a little bit more pronounced than ours, but not much. So, close this. Anyways, let me stop sharing my screen. All right. So those are the cryptids. Like I said, you got to make up your own mind. This channel is just basically to put information out there and for you guys to digest however you want. If you're a skeptic, you're going to go, okay, this is all fake. If you're a believer, you're going to go, yeah, this is real. If you're like me, somewhere in the middle, you're going to go, oh, it's interesting. Well, maybe or maybe not. So, I didn't believe in Bigfoot until I had an encounter. And so that's why I always tell everybody, again, you have to have your own experience with these things. Doesn't matter what it is before you believe. All right, guys. So I'm going to be doing the Bigfoot podcast here right after this. They'll probably release pretty close to each other. Again, we appreciate your support, both financially and by going and liking, subscribing on our channel, on our YouTube channel, hitting that notification bell, and sharing this link with your friends on your own personal social media. Helps us get our channel out there and helps us get new followers, and is helping our podcast and everything grow. If you're just listening to the podcast, if you're on your phone, if you wouldn't mind sharing it on your personal page, let your friends and family see it and listen to it, and hopefully they're into it as much as you are and find it interesting. Like I said, we're constantly getting new viewers and meeting new people. It's been a lot of fun. So we appreciate the heck out of you guys. We're so grateful for you. And thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. And we will catch you on the next one.